Welcome to the Week 14 Game Day Gauntlet right here on the Virtual Football Network. I'm UFL co-founder Cameron Irvine. We got some intriguing matchups today. We start out east where it's a scorcher. Feels like 88 degrees in New York. The Lightning 10-3 hosting the 5-8 Rochester Pioneers. I thought maybe New York would wear all white at home for the first time ever because of the heat, but then I thought, well, the Lightning, they're going to get all upset because they're all about the all-black tradition at home. They're all about beating Rochester as well. New York won the first meeting this season 16-11. Chicago added a new running back to their backfield. Not that they needed more stars on the offensive side of the ball. Rex Swift joins the team. Not expected to have a major role today, but we'll see how they incorporate him in the offense down the line. They host Dallas, two teams pretty hot in the East. Wichita trying to end their slump. They host the they travel to the Austin Lone Stars today. 6-7 versus 7-6. Difficult one to pin down, especially the uncharacteristic performance out of Shy Ronnie on Monday night. 5 interceptions against the Phoenix Skyhawks. That matched the amount of interceptions that she had all season. BK Solberg, of course, has had plenty of interceptions this season. Second in the league in that category. Salt Lake goes to San Diego. The Hornets are on a 6-game losing streak. They've lost a couple of heartbreakers to Los Angeles and St. Louis. In back-to-back weeks, San Diego is on fire. They are now the third highest scoring team in the league at 29 points per game, because Phoenix is now the second highest scoring team with 30.3 points per game. They will take on Dakota in the coast-to-coast first game, and then Vegas desperately tries to turn it around against 6-7 LA. We've also got St. Louis in their patriotic red and blue today hosting Minnesota, 3-10. Those are two Midwestern teams going in opposite directions, as Minnesota hopes that this can be finally the week they put it all together. St. Louis and New York jostling at the top of the Eastern Conference, and of course Dallas is just one game back of them. So with all that being said, let the rivalry continue in New York, where the Garden State battle gives us part 4. The Lightning and the Pioneers kick us off with the Game Day Gauntlet. Let's go, folks. We're ready to rock. The Lightning at the top of the East with St. Louis. St. Louis holds the head-to-head tiebreaker at 10-3, so New York would need a win and a St. Louis loss today to overtake that number 1 seed. Dallas is at 9-4, and then Chicago, 2 games back of them at 7-6. Those two play each other. Coming up next on the Game Day Gauntlet. I said the Garden State. My fault. Empire State. Is there a Garden State? Joe Francis, 24 touchdowns, 10 picks, 3,311 yards this season. Jupiter Jennings gets the initial carry, and the Pioneers defense sniffs that one out. New York is the 4th highest scoring team in the league at 25.6 points per game. That's the type of stat that I like to remind the folks of New York, that their offense is really not that bad, even though they feel frustrated by it constantly. 25.6 points per game, 4th best in the league. Rochester has the 5th best scoring defense, giving up 21.2 points per game, as Robert Henson gets the carry up to the 33-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and short. New Jersey is the Garden State. I was so close. Hello, Neil Rivers. Hello, Justin Reside. Hello, Peter. Hello, Charles. Hello, JW. Hello, Eric. And many, many others here with us to start the Game Day Gauntlet. I hope that you've had a happy 4th of July weekend.
Let's go. 30 base.
Last night I stayed largely away from things. Made sure that the dog's anxiety over the fireworks wasn't too bad. And kept to myself. It was nice as New York just gets this playoff on 3rd down and 2, but Robert Henson is dropped for a loss of 1. Schlumbaum on the tackle inside, and Rochester is going to get a first drive stop. Oh, Peter says the merch is awesome. More great reviews about the merch. Love hearing that. No red, white, and blue bandana for me, Charles. I was saying that I stayed largely to myself because, you know, some of the best parts about holidays for me is I don't get DMs. I don't have people freaking out over needing my help or my advice or anything else from me. And they all get to celebrate, and in some respects, I get to be left alone. And it's kind of nice for a change of pass incomplete from Matt Wilson, and there'll be a pass interference call on New York on the first play. Antonio Dawson, don't see that often. That moves the ball up to the 30-yard line for Rochester. Charles wearing his UFL merch as we speak. Casey Mears on the carry, picks up 10 yards. A tube top, Charles. That is rough. I mean, no offense, but I can think of how many people are in the world? 7 billion. I can think of at least 1 billion people that would probably look better than a tube top than you, Charles. No shade. You know, I'm right there in that same boat with you, but that's rough. Quamaine Harrison with the tackle for New York. He was a new addition earlier in the season. He's got 3 games under his belt, 26 tackles, 2 TFLs, and 2 pass breakups. He's in there with Michaela Foraker making the stop on Mears. And it's a 3rd down and 1 for Rochester. I'll hand it off to Mears, and Mears is not going to get there. So both teams on opening possessions have 3rd down and 1s that go for a loss of 1. And New York's defense, which is 2nd in the league in scoring defense, giving up just 17 points per game, gets off the field on their opening possession. It's probably one of the most underrated parts of the New York Lightning is the fact that their scoring defense is quite elite. Dakota's number 3, Dallas is number 4. It's no surprise that those are 4 of the top 5 teams in the league right now. Actually, the top 4 records in the league right now with the top 4 best scoring defenses. Rochester, number 5, San Diego, number 6. So back out comes New York here. We got a 50 off the board from earlier. Charles shot his shot. Came in the chat, said, hey, I'm the first one. Can I get a number? I said, sure. He said 50. And so we'll see what happens. If 50 comes off the board later in the broadcast, he does not get an additional bonus number, but he's that 50 could be the difference for him. 2nd down and 10 as Francis's pass is incomplete. Second down and 10 for the Lightning. Handoff goes to Jennings, and Jennings is going to lose 3 yards. 2 carries, no yards for Jupiter Jennings, dropped in the backfield by Cornish. This Rochester defensive front is very interesting because up front, you got 10 sacks from Lyle Cornish, 6 sacks from Octavius Simmons, but you've got a claimed player on the line, Sam Switowski. He's got a couple of sacks, 24 tackles in 7 games, 6 tackles for loss. This is Francis over the middle. That is caught by Robert Henson Jr. up to the 35-yard line, and a first down for New York. His first catch for 18 yards. I agree, Clutch. That's why I gave my comments earlier. Very much so. Now, the only difference is that I know Charles personally. You've never met Charles in person. And so for you to say it, that's whatever the opposite of high praise is, as the handoff goes to Henson to the 42-yard line, 12 yards on his first 3 carries, 2nd down and 3. Henson, you can in fact catch. Actually, that is your 33rd catch of the year. You also have a touchdown to your name. 182 receiving yards now in the season. That one hits the top of the dome of Mark Anthony, who's used to making catches for this squad, but it's 3rd down and 3. Anthony, the second on the team in receptions with 55, only trailing Eden Hart. New York has 3 receivers over 800 yards. Eden Hart has 833. Mark Anthony has 827, and Jazz Aldmere has 801 in a very balanced crew. There's Aldmere on the 49th catch of his season, now up to 804 yards. Aldmere and Hart both have 8 touchdowns this season, which is more than any other skill player on the team. Jennings has 7, and Henson Jr. has 7. And on 4th down and inches, New York is going to decide to punt it away instead of going for it just inside their own territory. That punt down to the 14-yard line, as mentioned, kind of hot out here. We had got overcast skies, about 80 degrees, but it's humid as all get out. Feels like 88 here in Manhattan. Brandon says, "What's up?" Hello, Brandon. They won't go for it on their own side of the 50. They might have gone for it on the opposite side of the 50, as Matt Wilson on a play action had an open receiver. That was Dejon Wright. Wright, 966 yards coming into the game, 7 touchdowns on 64 catches. He leads the team in yards, touchdowns, and receptions. Evan Woods got 61 receptions for 698 yards, and Justin Resides up to 6 touchdowns. Hand off to Casey Mears. New York all over her in the early parts of this game. She maybe got a yard. Brandon says it's 107 here in Arizona. Wow, we had a stray storm here at VFN Studios just before kickoff, but that's gone, and the sun is back out, 91 degrees here at VFN headquarters. I believe on Thursday we are slated to have our first 100-degree day of the summer. 3rd down and 9 at the 15-yard line. New York's bringing the pressure. Wilson delivers after the pressure was picked up, but the pass is incomplete. Jarred loose. Dijon Swan was the intended target, but Kane Vasquez all over him. And we will have 4 straight punts in the opening quarter. Vasquez ripped that ball out, along with Cassian Cross. 104 yesterday in Toronto. That is intense. How many 100-degree days do y'all usually have? Do Canada thermometers even go up to 100? Because don't y'all do it in Celsius? From the 20-yard line, this is a pretty good return, and a very good return, actually. Declan James all the way out to the 44-yard line, a 24-yard punt return. Sets up New York for a first down and good field position with 5:07 to go in the first. Neither offense has been able to break loose, but New York's starting to win the field position battle. $105 next week in Denver. Robert, sure, you're not from Denver. You're going to be in Denver next week? Are you just worried about the convention forecast? Joe Francis over the middle, caught. Jazz Aldmere wide open inside the 20, putting on the moves to the 16-yard line. A pickup of 37 yards, 20 after the catch, and New York's in the red zone for the first time today. By the way, the convention forecast right now, 95, 95, 94. And 95. So, pack warm weather clothes.
Let's go. 60 Pittsburgh.
First down and 10 at the 16-yard line for Joe Francis and the Lightning. Now, New York, Rochester, and Vegas are the only three teams in the league converting less than 50% of their red zone trips into touchdowns. This was a point of emphasis for New York this week. Sick and tired of the play action deep down in the red zone. So far, so good for the Lightning, but Francis throws that one out of bounds. 4 of 7 for 61 yards in the early going, and it's quickly a 3rd and 10 for the Lightning.
Let's go now. 18 Gator. Watch your slap. Watch your slap.
Francis in the gun. I think that's, Eden Hart is in the bunch. Joe Francis going to the corner of the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. A 16-yard score. There's a red zone touchdown. Declan James, first touchdown of the season for Declan on his 33rd catch. And the Lightning have the first points on the board today on the Gauntlet. A 16-yard touchdown, gets 16 off the board. And New York does that touchdown drive mostly through the air. Yeah, it's fascinating talking about New York, Rochester, and Vegas being the only three teams under 50%. Of course, Rochester and Vegas are 5-8, 3-10 respectively, but New York still 10-3 despite those red zone deficiencies. So if they can get that corrected and turned around like they did on this play or on this drive, that's going to make them even more scary. So Declan gets the score. Dallas and Chicago kicking off in about 5 minutes. The East gets more interesting by the day. Miami and New Orleans will play on Monday night. Those are the two teams currently at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. But with a Rochester loss and a New Orleans win, they would be able to forge a 5-9 three-way tie for 6th place, and that's important because 6th place gets a first-round home playoff game, whereas 7th and 8th place have to go on the road. So a lot on the line for New Orleans, Miami, and Rochester as we wind down the regular season. Wichita and Miami are the only two teams in the East on losing streaks. They both lost 3 in a row. Meanwhile, out west, it is Minnesota, losers of 5 straight, Salt Lake, losers of 6 straight, and Vegas has lost a couple in a row. We'll see Salt Lake taking on San Diego later, Minnesota taking on St. Louis later. Vegas plays tonight on Coast to Coast at Los Angeles, a difficult game for the Devils. They want revenge from last season. They were embarrassed in a primetime game in 2025. That's a Casey Mears run for a first down, and finally Rochester able to get the offense moving a little bit. Yep, Joe Francis, a 71% completion percentage. That is number 1 in the league. Ronnie Shanahan at 70.6. Everybody over 60%. Second down and 1 for Rochester. Francis also with the 10 interceptions. Ronnie Shanahan now has the least amount of interceptions in the league with 8 through 13 games. Zach Holdorf with 9. But Shanahan has thrown literally 200 more passes than Zach Holdorf. So combine that with the high completion percentage of Ronnie Shanahan, and he's had a great season. The problem for Los Angeles is that Shanahan only has 15 touchdowns, and that's 3rd fewest in the league. Shy Ronnie with the most touchdowns by 10 with 38. She is 270 yards away from 5,000 this season. That pass is caught by Evan Wood. First down for Rochester at the New York 45-yard line. Brandon's proud of the Wildcats. They are on a 3-game winning streak. That is tied with Rochester and St. Louis for the second longest winning streak in the league, but Dakota has won 9 straight games.
Here we go. 50 plant.
First down and 10. If you missed it earlier this week, the UFL released its playoff format. Casey Mears has a first down to the 31-yard line. We're excited about delivering this playoff format to you through July, or towards the end of July, August, and September. Playoffs start Thursday, July 23rd. That is the Thursday after the final game of the season on Monday night. Final play of the first quarter for Rochester. This is the first drive that they have entered New York territory. That brings us to the end of the first quarter, 7-0 Lightning. UFL playoffs get underway Thursday, July 23rd, and then again Sunday, July 26th. But then we'll have a break as VFN will be in Denver for the SFL convention the following weekend. And then the top seeds will take the field Sunday, August 9th. 2nd and 8 for Rochester at the New York 29-yard line. Play action roll from Wilson. Delivers. Caught inside the 10. Down to the 4-yard line. A first down and goal for Rochester. That's Evan Wood. Matt Wilson, 4 of 6 for 55 yards so far today. And the play action rollouts have been effective against this Lightning defense early on. We'll see if Rochester can get into the end zone before we go to the double box. First and goal at the 4. Play action again here from Rochester. Plenty of time to throw. Wilson's pass is incomplete. That one was almost intercepted. And let's go to Chi-Town. Second to go with a 4 for Rochester. Wilson's pass into the flats, down to the 1. Those are not your bingo numbers. There they are, 50 and 16 and 7. Casey Mears from 1 yard out walks it in. Rochester an extra point away from tying the game. Brandon, New York and Dakota actually met last week. 2 pick sixes were the difference for Dakota. They won that game 31-17. So both Rochester and New York get it done in the red zone. The extra point for the Pioneers is good, and we are tied at 7. Dallas and Chicago, the 9-4 Talons, the 7-6 Dragons. Chicago 6-4 in their last 10. Dallas 8-2 in their last 10. A good one in Illinois expected. Adam Wiseman is the quarterback. He'll start with a handoff to Jason Williams, who gets out of a tackle and picks up 10 yards. Williams 1,117 yards and 8 touchdowns on the ground this season. Very underrated runner of the football. Williams now 7th in the league, averaging 85.9 yards per game. They'll hand it off to Williams again. He's got another first down up to the 38-yard line. Run defense for Dallas, 4th best in the league. By the way, New York number 1, giving up just 89.5 yards per game. We've seen that so far. Shutting down Casey Mears for the most part. First and 10 for Chicago. The handoff goes to Williams again. They start with 3 straight runs. Chicago runs the 10th most times in the league. They pass the 6th most times in the league. Minnesota, by the way, number 1 in pass attempts this season. They've been down a lot. First and 10 at the 25 for New York. as Francis drops that one off. Robert Henson's second catch of the day. He's got a first down. Another handoff to Williams. That's 5 straight runs. Now, again, we mentioned Rex Swift is new on the roster for Chicago. So they got 2 in the backfield, 2 superstars in the backfield. Then they got a superstar quarterback and a couple of superstar wide receivers, but the team still has no defensive claims. And there's a delay of game on New York.
Ready up. Set, watch out. Check Mike 54. Mike 54.
Pioneers trying to catch Rochester for the 5 seed today at 5-8. Flyers are 6-7. Wiseman hit as he throws, and to the sideline. That pass should have been caught, but Corin Foxworth knocks it out of the hands of Byleth Thomas, and Chicago will have to punt. That was a very good throw under duress from Adam Wiseman as Francis delivers on 1st and 15. That ball is caught. 7 of 10 now is Joe. 70% completion, right about his average. That's Declan James again with his 3rd grab. So Chicago's got a punt. Joe Francis on a play action. He's got Eden Hart wide open. Hart slips a tackle, gets to the 41-yard line of Rochester for a New York first down. Cormaine Harrison is in the house, otherwise known as Seth, but we won't tell anybody. Cheering on his New York Lightning. Dallas's first offensive possession will be deep in their own territory. Jaden Swift, Cameron Duty, the rest of the crew in Dallas. Winners of 8 of their last 10 after a 1-2 start. Jaden Swift's first carry picks up 16 yards. That's not good news for Chicago. Robert Henson off the left side, inside the 15, down to the 10-yard line. Another red zone trip for New York. 5 carries, 43 yards for Robert Henson in the opening half. Cameron Duty on a first down and 10, back to throw. Oh, he threw a pick to the near side. Manson takes it away for Chicago, and they get a defensive stop on the first play. That's Manson, or on the first drive. That's Manson's first interception of the season to go along with 6 pass breakups. For Chicago, they've got a number of players with interceptions, but not Manson. Handoff goes to Henson, and Henson won't get much. Second down and 10 from the 10 for New York. Weird that's not a goal-to-go situation. What a turn of events for Chicago. They now have the ball at the Dallas 33-yard line. For Cameron Duty, that was interception number 14 on the season, and Jason Williams almost scored. So did Declan James for the second time today. He gets down to the 1-yard line, and bingo players don't like to see that. 3rd and inches from the 1 for New York. The handoff on a 2nd down and 1 to Williams again. He's got 6 carries for 33 yards in the first 4 minutes of this game. 1st and 10 for Chicago at the 20-yard line. 3rd and inches from the 1 for New York. They got Henson in the backfield. They'll give it to him. Henson breaks off a tackle and scores. Adam Wiseman is sacked by Marsh to bring up 2nd down and long outside of the red zone, but Henson is in for a New York touchdown, and that's 2 red zone trips and 2 touchdowns for the New York Lightning. And the points starting to flow between the Lightning and the Pioneers after a bunch of punts on the first handful of drives. Wichita and Austin is your next game to kick off. 14 is off the board. (14-7) Lightning over the Pioneers. This is Jason Williams with another run to set up a 3rd down and 14. Chicago's been pretty conservative against this Dallas pass defense. which is surprising considering Dallas has the third worst pass defense, giving up 288 yards per game. Third down and 14, but not if you can't get rid of the ball. Ryan Van Holten with a sack. Van Holten is racing up the leaderboards for sacks. He's up to 9 now. That's tied for 10th in the UFL. Defensive tackle Keyshawn Lynch of Phoenix is number 1 with 14. Rip Cuby's got 13. Mordecai Pfister with 11. Brandon Parker of the Chicago Dragons with 10. And after back-to-back sacks on that drive, once Chicago got in the red zone, it'll be a 48-yard field goal for the Dragons to get on the board. That kick is up and good. So 48-3 come off the board as Chicago gets some points off the interception. Again, you've got patriotic bingo today. 25 different designs can be a winner, but once one of those designs wins, they're taken off the board. Casey Mears just 31 yards on 11 carries in the first half. Quamaine Harrison with his first solo tackle of the day, but it'll bring up 3rd down and 6. That New York run defense, since they switched up how they were running that 3-4, has been electric. Matt Wilson on 3rd down. That is a beautiful strike to Justin Reside. Wilson now 6 of 9 for 74 yards, and the Pioneers have a 1st down near midfield. Wichita and Austin next to kick off in about 11 minutes. There's Duty's numbers throwing a pick on his first pass of the day. Cameron Duty this season 10th in the league in passing yards per game at 267. That's a 1st down for Rochester. That's a brilliant catch by Rashad Lockley over the middle. Don't often see that. Mears' best run of the day. Now nets are 44 first half yards. Another Rochester 1st down beyond midfield. First down and 10 for Dallas. Deep drop back from Cameron Duty. He finds Neil Rivers for the 1st down. The 44-yard line. Rivers' first catch of today. Rivers this season, 54 receptions, 624 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Who tops the receiving leaderboards at tight end this season? By the, let's see. It'd be Sauce K. 1,026 yards, 5 touchdowns, 10th on the leaderboard. And he is joined in the top 25 by Michael Joseph, 855 receiving yards for Minnesota. That's 19th. Eden Hart is 21st, 833 yards and 8 touchdowns. Lars Bazaar of Los Angeles is 4th, 801 yards, 2 touchdowns, 24th on the leaderboard. 3rd down and 1 for Rochester. Dallas is cross midfield. Swift hit at the line, but able to make something out of nothing. Mears on 3rd down and 1, and Foraker stops her. Brandon's got 8 dogs. What kind of dogs you got, Brandon? Another 3rd down and short, snuffed out. Foraker doubled up front. Neil Rivers has a 1st down for Dallas to the Chicago 30-yard line. And Rochester is going to go for it on a 4th down and 2. Hand off to Mears, and Mears is crushed. Rochester, the worst 4th down team in the league, now 1 of 7, is stopped in the backfield, and New York will take over on the 38-yard line. Barry comes in unblocked. That is inexcusable from the Rochester offensive front. Penalty marker in Chicago. Ineligible man downfield. That'll back up Dallas.
Come on, set. 10 Lobo. Check 9.
2:40 to go in the first half. 14-7 New York. They get the ball back after the 4th down stop. There goes Jennings. He's got a 1st down. Jaden Swift on first down and 15. Tough man to bring down, picks up 8 yards. Swift averaging 85.6 yards per game. By the way, Payne Price is now over 500 yards better than any other rusher in the league. 1,806 yards, needs 194 yards in his last 3 games to get 2,000, and he's averaging 138 yards a game. So it looks like Payne Price will be a 2,000-yard runner, and our first in UFL history as we've hit the 2-minute warning in New York. Another flag on Dallas on a 3rd down and inches. They go full start. Payne Price had 1,675 yards last season in the 14 games that we were able to stat. Here's a screen on 3rd down and 5, and it works out for Dallas. How about Jeff Wells with the pretty catch? An extra effort, 2nd and 7. Henson juking and jiving, 10 of 13 now is Joe Francis. It's 3rd down and 2 at the Rochester 44 for New York.
Go now. 60 Pittsburgh.
4 runs, 6 passes in the early going for Dallas. 3rd and 2. Francis's pass is caught, and that is a 19-yard touchdown run from Jaden Swift. Dallas takes the lead. Just off that left side, I think that was Neil Rivers deep down the field. Mark Anthony with a catch to keep the New York drive alive.
Set. 30 base.
Two Chihuahuas, a Cocker Spaniel, Poodle, and can't remember the rest. Mark Anthony to the 17-yard line, and Dallas is in the red zone again. Yeah, we missed Cardiac Squid. A great name. 9 carries, 77 yards, or 9 plays, 77-yard drive for Dallas.
Here we go. Set. 18 Gator.
1st and 10 at the 17 for New York. 3rd red zone trip of the day. Francis dropping a throw. Francis going to take off and run. Francis doesn't do that much, but he does pick up 7 yards. Joe Francis, 18 carries, 61 yards this season, does not have a rushing touchdown. Averages 3.4 yards per carry. This is Francis, deep ball, end zone, touchdown from 10 yards out, Eden Hart. How about the Lightning, 3 for 3 in the red zone in the first half? I'd say those adjustments worked this week. 40 yards on his first 8 carries for Jason Williams as we come down to the end of the first quarter in Chicago. Extra point is good, 21-7. New York extends their lead. They get the touchdown off of the failed 4th down conversion. Chicago's got their first completion of the game. K. Marion with no targets in the first quarter as Denard Byam, former Fresno Bobcat, making that catch there for Chicago. New York has now put up more points on Rochester than their defense typically allows, almost 21.2 here in the first half. Chicago moving the football at the 43-yard line, but Brian Fenholten on the outside picks up and throws down the, check the DJ Kilgannon with the TFL for a 3-yard loss. Beautiful job by DJ sealing the edge. And Ronnie Shanahan's numbers are hitting. End of the first quarter in Chicago, 7-3, Dallas on top of the Dragons. This is Matt Wilson's pass, complete And a timeout quickly by Rochester. They have just 25 seconds left. That picked up 14 yards. Reside's second catch, he's up to 30. Portius Bacon's second tackle. Adam Wiseman on a 3rd down and 12. Play fake. Wiseman fires near side. Caught down to the Dallas 35-yard line. Pretty ball from Adam Wiseman. And that's Boyd with a 24-yard catch. Another timeout for Rochester. They've moved the ball up to their 47-yard line. Evan Wood with the catch, but they are still out of field goal range. They'll probably need something on this next play to get there.
Here we go. 60 or.
20 seconds to go for Rochester. Wilson's pass was looking for the sideline, but that is a really poor job by, Ronnie Everidge again. He is the bane of Rochester's existence. They want him out of here. And because he didn't run that route out of bounds, Rochester's going to end up having to settle for Hail Mary or something smaller. Wiseman down the field, inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. That's a first down in the red zone. Another catch for Byam. 3rd down and 1 for the Pioneers. They are out of timeouts, though, with 5 seconds to go. And they'll just sling that one. They were looking to get maybe just a little bit closer. That's out of the reach of Reside. Now it's 4th and 1 with 2 seconds left. Maybe New York works on their 4th down offense here. 1st down and 10 for Chicago in the red zone. Play fake. Blitz is picked up. Wiseman has to get rid of it. He lost the ball, though, and it's recovered by a lineman. It's a loss of 7. Dallas's pressure has really gotten to Wiseman in the first half. That's really been the difference in the game, and we've reached the end of the first half between New York and Rochester. 21-7, Lightning over the Pioneers. And now we go to the Lone Star State, Austin, Texas. There we go. Took a minute. Got the feed up, live from Austin. Lone Stars and the Flyers. I tell you what, both teams, they don't want to see any interceptions today, I'll tell you that. Wiseman 3rd and long on a check down. That's not going to do it. Chicago's going to have to settle for a 34-yard field goal. What's up, Ray? Hashtag saddle up from Twiggy as Austin and Wichita get going. It's a 34-yard field goal for Chicago. That would make it 7-6. That field goal is good. 34-6 off the board. Numbers are flowing at a pretty good pace so far today. And Wichita will get the ball to start the first half. All right, let's talk about Wichita and Austin, because the Flyers lost last week 24-10, and the only difference in that game was 2 pick sixes by Scotty Scruggs. As that is a great throw to start the game from BK Solberg to RJ Gilmer. Well, Austin lost last week 47-21 against Phoenix, and in that game, Austin had 6 total turnovers. Joe Tillo had 3 touchdowns. There was a couple of runs for scores, but I believe Phoenix had 2 defensive touchdowns themselves in that blowout win. Wilson is going to be sacked on 3rd down and 7 as New York's defense clamps down. Jordan with the takedown. Delro gets Wichita to midfield. So after Wichita and Austin both gave up 2 defensive touchdowns last week in losses, They want to see a cleaner day out of the offense today. Jaden Swift, 5 carries, 50 yards, and a touchdown so far for Dallas. They have a 7-6 lead right now in Chicago. And yes, talking about the schedule coming up next week, it is New York at Dallas, the second game of our coast-to-coast doubleheader on Sunday. Big-time game in the East as Dallas tries to keep pace, just one game back of New York today. And if Dallas were to beat New York, then New York will have lost to St. Louis and Dallas in the East. So that's a big one, especially for the Lightning next week.
Go now. 70, Indy. Watch 20, seal that. Single.
Solberg is sacked on 3rd down and 7. Max Superset with the takedown, and Austin's going to punt the football. Or force a punt on it, rather. Cameron Duty wide open to the 45-yard line. That's a first down for the Talons. 2nd down and 1. I don't think Jennings got there. Just 13 yards on his first 5 carries today for Max Superset. That is sack number 4 on the season. Sack number 5 on the season. He now leads the Austin Lone Stars, who don't have a ton of sacks. Robert Henson on a 3rd down and 1 is dragged down, and Rochester gets their first stop of the second half. LA's got St. Louis and New York in their final 2 games before the playoffs.
Set. 10 Lobo.
JW, to your question earlier, as Jaden Swift has another great run, and I think they just got Chicago for an unnecessary personal foul. Mike Woodstone's got a first down on his carry. Reneel Brown called for the penalty. That's going to move Dallas's possession all the way up to the Chicago 24. New York will punt. Faro Gaming cheering on the Talons today. Got 44 of you watching the Game Day Gauntlet here on your 4th of July weekend. Hope you are having a great weekend. Just 3 weeks left in the UFL regular season. That is a catch from Mike Woodstone out of the backfield, breaking a couple tackles for Austin down to the 44-yard line. But Dallas is the closest to scoring position at the Chicago 22. Next week here on the Gauntlet, San Diego and Austin will be a really good game out west. Right now they are both tied for 2nd at 7-6. The number 2 seed gets a double bye, while the number 3 seed just gets 1 bye. So the battle for number 2 and number 3 matters. That's the thing about this playoff format. Yes, every team makes the playoffs. It takes a little bit of shine off the regular season, but every single seed has an advantage. The number 1 seed has home field advantage throughout the conference playoffs and a double bye. The number 2 seed gets a double bye, but doesn't have the home field advantage in that conference championship situation. The number 3 seed gets a bye and also has a first-round home playoff game. Number 4 seed does as well. The number 5 seed doesn't get a bye, but they do get a home playoff game, as does number 6, and then number 7 and number 8 get a chance to fight their way up the bracket. Of course, it's double elimination until you get to the conference finals. So if you lose that first game, you get upset. If something crazy happens, you can still work your way out of it in the loser's bracket. The handoff goes to Jaden Swift, and Swift bulls his shoulder into the defender and gets in for a 12-yard touchdown. Jaden Swift owning the Chicago Dragons here in the early going. Chicago 14th in the league in run defense at giving up 123 yards a game. They showed it there. Minnesota and New Orleans are 15th and 16th respectively. New Orleans coming up on Monday night against Miami. That is a huge home game for them. Minnesota at St. Louis today. They got a tough task against the Rivermen. That pass from Joe Francis is incomplete. I think that's his first incompletion in about half an hour. The extra point is good for Dallas. 14-6, 12, your only new number off the board. Mike Woodstone beyond the 50-yard line. Austin's down to the Wichita 36-yard line. JW, going back to your question, I am feeling fine. Sometimes it's not allergies, but I kind of get a flare-up the more I talk because it's just my body's not used to it. So it's currently in the readjusting process right now. But as Nico Rightway gets Austin into the red zone. But other than that, nice catch by Jazz Aldmere. Other than that, I'm fine, a little fatigued. Got a lot to do, getting prep for the convention. Of course, we have the summit this year, a lot to discuss and a lot to go over here on the Virtual Football Network. Nico Rightway with another good grab for Austin. Rightway having a very underrated season. He flies under the radar with Annie Beaverhausen and Mike Churchill, number 1 and number 2 in the league. But Nico Rightway is still in the top 25. At number 22 is Ronnie. Lets that one drift out of the back of the end zone. Jupiter Jennings finally has got a good carry up to the Rochester 48-yard line, 30 yards on 6 carries. 5 minutes to go in the first half for Chicago, trailing 14-6. Quarterback pressure has been a problem, and Wiseman's pocket collapses on him, and he just has to throw it away. Wiseman has only taken 35 sacks this season. That's 5th fewest in the league, so not too terrible there. San Diego's only given up 22 sacks. 3rd down and 8. Wiseman again on a little check down, and Chicago's 3rd down and long offense has not been great. They'll have to punt it away again. Good stop for the Dallas defense. 3rd down, 11 for Austin. Intercepted in the end zone. And Shy Ronnie's surprising turn late in the season continues. That pass is intercepted by Harper. Russ Harper's 3rd interception of the season to go along with 10 pass breakups. This one comes in the end zone, gets the 2 feet down. Pass intended for Annie Beaverhausen. Deep shot one-on-one for Mark Anthony, and he's out of the back of the end zone on a 3rd down and 5. That almost looked like a catch. Joe Allen was in coverage. But Wichita forces the first turnover of the day. How about that from the Flyers? And yeah, Joe Francis was well out of bounds. Handoff to Chris Delro, and he is dropped. In the backfield, deep shot for Dallas. That ball is knocked out of the hands of Rashad Lockley at the last second. Brilliant defense there for Chicago. Will bring up 2nd down. New York will punt it away. Maverick, the expansion, is up in the air. It's not necessarily something that I'm in control of. But I do work in tandem with CJ Zilligan. CJ's had a lot of real life stuff going on this year. And so it's, he had his first child. He's been playing catch up a lot. 2027 TBD on that kind of stuff. But we know that CJ is going to be back in action soon enough. As Neil Rivers has his 3rd catch for Dallas. This is BK Solberg over the middle. That pass is caught, and Wichita is almost to midfield again. Salt Lake and San Diego kicking off in about 9 minutes. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Houston Voyagers is a fun name, Maverick. Talking space theme there. 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter in New York. 3 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter in Chicago. 4 minutes to go in the 1st quarter in Austin. This is Solberg back to throw again. That pass is incomplete. Right into the shaded area of the Lone Star Stadium here today. 2nd down and 10. Cameron Duty dropping to throw. He's going to take off and run now. And Duty, I do believe, did pick up the 1st down. Got 6, needed 5. Solberg now on a 2nd down and 10. And his pass is complete. We'll set up a 3rd down and short into Austin territory. BK now 3 of 5 for 49 yards. I think right now the league is not necessarily... What's up, Damon? Glad you made it as Swift takes a handoff. League's not necessarily focused on expansion right now as much as we are just trying to, build a solid foundation of what we're doing around here. It's been a really tough year for me personally, the toughest year of my life, quite frankly. And it's not an excuse, but the fact that we have been able to continue on as we have is honestly, it's just a miracle. It's because I care, basically. If I didn't care, it wouldn't have happened. So I definitely care and want the best for everything on this channel as Chris Delro picks up a couple yards. 2nd and 12 for New York. They are in Rochester territory, up 21-7. A very precarious position for the Pioneers to be in. They really got to get a stop here. Miles Savage with the catch for Dallas, up to 200 yards in the first half. So they've moved it into Chicago territory. Delrose still running. 6 carries, 18 yards. Now it's 3rd down and 4 for the Flyers. I do not refuse free barbecue. We meet from time to time, Charles. You know this. Just trying to rile me up. 4th down and 10 as Rochester does get the stop. So New York's going to have to punt. Oh, Timothy Shea took a wicked hit. Shea quietly is having a really good season in Wichita, the 7th in receiving yards. Changed his number to number 8 a couple weeks back. 7 touchdowns and 66 catches. Michael Joseph of Minnesota actually has the most catches of anyone in the league with 81. But Rochester's going to be pinned inside their own 10, down to the 7-yard line. That's been kind of a theme today, as Wichita is not going to kick the 55-yard field goal, and they're going to get nothing off of that turnover. Dallas is now down to the 5-yard line. But Rochester's been pinned inside their own 20 quite a few times today. New York's defense has really made them work. And Matt Wilson's pass was almost picked off. Hand off to Mike Woodstone. I don't know if I have to check the weather again or what here at headquarters. The dog is restless. 2nd and goal at the 5. 40 seconds to go in the first half. That pass is caught. That is Vance with the catch, and 5 off the board. Touchdowns beats field goals. That's what Dallas is doing to Chicago here in the first half. A 3rd down and 5 yards to go for Matt Wilson and the Pioneers, and that one sails out of bounds. By the way, here at headquarters, it is 94, feels like 108 outside right now. And we do have some storms in the area. The poor dog is upset. We'll be upset if we get kicked off the air. The extra point is good. 21-6 Dallas on top of Chicago. Oh, Shirani just threw another pick. And it's a Wichita pick 6. What is going on with Shirani in the last 5 quarters of play? We're going to call that a 15-yard pick 6 for Wichita. And it's the Flyers taking the early lead over the Lone Stars, 7-0. Now that Duncan has made his extra point. So 7-0 Wichita, 21-6 Dallas. Chicago's moved the football, but when they get into 3rd and long, they've really struggled. And then Wichita off the pick 6, the first one of week 14. Makes it 7-0. Shirani just 5 interceptions before last week. And now she's up to 11, which is tied for 6th fewest in the league. 25 seconds to go, timeout Chicago. Maybe it's all those bingos that Shy's been getting this season. Maybe they're coming back to haunt her. Second down and 3. Jupiter Jennings on the carry. Again, Rochester's defense is in a precarious position. New York has won the field position battle for much of the day, and Ronnie's pass sails to absolutely no one. Brandon, I would say that of all the teams in the league, Minnesota and Vegas at both 3-10, they really need a come to Jesus moment. They have struggled to really figure out exactly what is wrong. New Orleans is on the upswing. Rochester's on the upswing. Salt Lake, even though they've lost 6 in a row, they've been playing better as of late. So, you know, it's tough to say.
Down, 18 Gator. 54. Got to do better.
But, you know, we still got a lot of season left. We still got the playoffs. It's anybody's game. Shy Ronnie over the middle. That is a better connection on 3rd down and 13. 5 of 10 for 2 picks, but Mike Churchill gets back involved, and it's an Austin first down. Chicago gets into field goal range just before the half. It's a 47-yard field goal. That would make it 21-9, and that kick is good. So 47 and 9 come off the board. But 3 touchdowns for Dallas, 3 field goals for Chicago is the difference in that one with 1 second to go in the first half. 9:02 to go in the fourth quarter, and New York has reached the red zone once more. Austin's across the 50. This is Francis dropping a throw. He'll fire it out to Henson. That is it's caught, but for no gain. 3rd and 5. 51 of you watching the Game Day Gauntlet here in Week 14. We're excited to bring it to you. Coming up tonight on Coast to Coast, Phoenix at Dakota. Highly anticipated game. Ronnie's going deep down the field and overshot the intended target on 1st down. Let's go to the quad box. It's San Diego and Salt Lake kicking off next in California. 12-yard touchdown for New York. They score in the red zone again. Eden Hart's second. 4 red zone trips, 4 touchdowns for the New York Lightning. That should scare every team in the league because that has been their weakness. Eight-play, 53-yard drive. 3 minutes and 55 seconds off the clock, and Rochester is in trouble. They just simply have not gotten the red zone stops today. And they've had poor field position. New York's had the better field position all day. 28-7, New York on top of Rochester now with 8:05 to go in the fourth quarter. All right, Salt Lake at San Diego here. The 4-9 Hornets. That is a 19-yard touchdown for Austin. Mike Woodstone out of the backfield with the score, and Austin's an extra point away from tying the game. Woodstone on a streak out of the backfield, getting the touchdown catch. For Mike Woodstone, that is touchdown number 3 receiving. He actually has 45 catches this season. First down for Salt Lake at the 37. They already moved the chains once. Rochester down to 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The extra point for Austin is good. And we're tied at 7. Skippy Palmer on the line. Mia Pangori. Chris Allure. Mac Anthony. Sauce K. Talented group in Salt Lake, just dying to put it together. Jeff Wells with a couple of shifty moves in the open field, and Chicago's inability to stop the run has been problematic today against Dallas. Matt Wilson just a little bit outside. Looking deep, 14 of 22 today. Portius Bacon was in the area. She's got 3 tackles. Wilson's pass on 2nd and 10. A lot of room down the near sideline. That is Dejon Wright with the catch. And Rochester will go no huddle with 7:18 to go in the 4th. 3rd down and 4 for Jay Carter and the Hornets. Carter's pass is complete and is for a 1st down, a 6-yard pickup. Hopkins out of the backfield, McLean, the pass catching back for Salt Lake. So after the Austin touchdown, BK Solberg dropping a throw in a tie game at 7, and he is taken down again. That is Randy Triplett with the sack for Austin. 2nd and 12 for Wilson. Beautiful route down to the 9-yard line. That is right again. Thrown to the back shoulder by Wilson. 1st and goal for the Pioneers. They're not giving up. With 6:40 to go in the 4th quarter, that pass is caught, albeit a little bit behind the intended receiver down at the 6-yard line. Chris Allure on that last carry for Salt Lake. They're across the 50 on their opening possession. Let's go to New York, where Rochester's in the red zone. 6:23 to go in the 4th quarter, and Wilson is going to avoid a sack, then lost the football. It's picked up by New York. And Jordan trying to get away, can't get away, but he recovers the fumble, and Rochester turns it over in the red zone. A face mask penalty on Ricky Tidwell for San Diego will move Salt Lake into the red zone. But a big-time play for the New York defense. And speaking of the New York defense, they lead the league in fumbles recovered. That is their 9th this season. Dallas on a 4th and 3 has to punt. There's another flag on San Diego. No, it's on Salt Lake, a holding penalty. Handoff goes to Henson. Picks up 3. New York now in control after that fumble recovery. And a penalty marker is, it's offside on Rochester. That makes it even worse. Let's go to Chicago, where it's a 1st and 10 at the 1-yard line. Jason Williams is going to help the Dragons get out of bad field position, and Wichita's got a punt on their next possession. So Austin back to work with 8:22 to go in the 2nd quarter, tied at 7. Next Monday night, Dakota at Vegas, a rematch of the playoff game from last season. Not really seeing a game that we would flex into that spot. Maybe San Diego, Austin. That's a touchdown. Mia Pangori. Look at this ball. Lower right-hand corner of the screen. Pangori over the defender with the one-handed catch. That is a pretty play for Pangori. That's touchdown number 9 on the season. That's 3rd most in the league. Only trailing Mike Churchill and Annie Beaverhausen, and the extra point is good. I was lost in the schedule there as Pangori caught that's another 19-yard touchdown. That's the 3rd of the day that we've had here on the Gauntlet. That is a pretty catch. Salt Lake scores on their opening possession. Adam Wiseman is going to be sacked back at his 4-yard line. Mike Woodstone's got a 1st down and more, and Austin's back into Wichita territory. San Diego's opening possession. They are 7-6, tied with Austin for second place in the West. Both teams watching the respective games. Williams on 3rd down and 20. Doesn't get much, and Chicago is going to have to punt. The pressure, as Kilgannon makes the tackle, the pressure that Dallas has applied to Chicago in the backfield, and Chicago's inability to stop the run have been problematic for them in this game. Austin has our volume at the Wichita 36-yard line. Ronnie airmails an intended target. Now 9 of 17 passing today.
Ready? 30 base.
Let's go one more.
Y'all don't know what old Manning is from a 10-year-old. It's very funny. I got a touchdown. Somebody get my dentures. Payne Price on the carry. Not much there for Salt Lake. Will bring up 2nd down and long. The punt is away from Austin. They fail to score, but they pin Wichita back down to their own 9-yard line. It looks like Dallas, thanks to Neil Rivers, is back into Chicago territory. 2-minute warning is all that's left in New York. The Lightning have a 28-7 lead on the Pioneers. That game has been won in the red zone. New York's back in it at 1st and 10 of the 19. They're 4 for 4 today. Don Mariano with the tackle for Salt Lake. How about Payne Price, -2 yards? Oh, what a grab for New York. Another red zone touchdown. Mark Anthony from, you guessed it, 19 yards away. Blows a kiss to the crowd, and New York has 5 red zone touchdowns in this ball game against the Pioneers, which has turned into a rout. Can we get a pylon cam on the toe drag? 1-2. That is beautiful stuff from Mark Anthony. Mac Anthony playing in San Diego right now, and a deep shot to Kyron Rucker falls incomplete, and Salt Lake gets a stop on their opening drive. There's a fumble in the Austin-Wichita game being returned for a touchdown. We got to get another look at it. Lower left-hand corner. Solberg's throw. Jamichael Morris gets it ripped away by one of the Fowler brothers, and it's taken back to the house. That is legit. By the way, 28 and 35 off the board from New York's scoring. We're getting a look at that fumble return for a touchdown. Another defensive score against Wichita. That's the 3rd in the last 2 weeks. That fumble return is going to be from 31 yards out. So since we got into the quad box, 28, 35, and 31 have come off the board. Our final kickoff between Minnesota and St. Louis coming up in about 8 minutes. And right now, we've got 35-7 New York, 28-9. Dallas scored. I think I missed the touchdown completely. That is a bad job by me. What did I miss, crew? That's awful. My apologies to the entire Talons organization. At a 14-yard strike from Cameron Duty, and that was to Neil Rivers. Touchdown for Neil from 14 yards out. So it's 28-9 Dallas, 35-7 New York. Austin scored 14 straight, 5:15 to go in the first half. And 7-0 Salt Lake. They got the football with 4:35 to go in the first quarter. Got it, Neil Rivers. 54 of you watching the Game Day Gauntlet today. We hope that happy to be a part of your 4th of July weekend, and we appreciate all the support here in Week 14 as the UFL winds down to the playoffs. Teams jostling for position. So far, so good for New York atop the East. They need a St. Louis loss, and they'll get to first. Max Superset with his 2nd sack. 4th down, Wichita. It's been all Austin here in the second quarter. Chris Allure on the handoff. Salt Lake's got 43 yards to Allure on 7 carries. They have dominated the first quarter and time of possession. Look at New York. They are back in the red zone with a minute to go. Rochester's not calling their timeouts. So it is possible that New York could score because they're not going to take knees if Rochester's got those timeouts on the board. Wichita owned the first quarter over Austin, but Austin has owned the second.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Hit that like button, says Ernest. Kappa Jones says, this is great. Reminds me of having the ticket. This is even better. What's up, Kappa? Welcome to the UFL broadcast. Week 14 of the 2026 UFL season. Austin is 7-6, Wichita 6-7, Salt Lake 4-9, San Diego 7-6. As that is a wide open receiver. That is McLean out of the backfield. Jay Carter is 7 of 7 in the first quarter. Second catch for McLean, and New York and Rochester has gone final 35-7. New York improves to 11-3 and 4-0 all time against the Pioneers. Rochester falls to 5-9. Their 3-game win streak snapped. And the Pioneers will have to figure out what to do. Really, that game was won in the red zone. New York, 5 red zone trips, technically 6. Clock ran out on that 6th possession. And 5 touchdowns for the Lightning. That's the best day they've had in the red zone, probably in team history, as they have struggled from there. Salt Lake's got a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line right now. And Chicago's going to have to punt the football away on 4th down and 4 towards the end of the third quarter. They were competitive early in that game, but they have been largely uncompetitive today against Dallas, who's trying to get to 10-4. Cameron Duty's numbers, 19 of 24 for 192 touchdowns and an interception. But it's 1st down and goal for Jay Carter at the 5. That is caught for another Salt Lake touchdown. Lucas Ryan, there goes Mike Woodstone breaking off a tackle. Austin's in scoring position, but Salt Lake has 2 touchdowns on their first 2 drives of the game and lead 13-0 over San Diego in an upset alert right now. Minnesota and St. Louis, our last kickoff of the day, will be in that upper left-hand corner in about 3 minutes. Extra point for Salt Lake is good. No new numbers there. 14-0. 10 play, 86 yards. Salt Lake drive, and the Hornets have come to play in California. $1:55 to go in the first half as Austin looks to extend their lead. Despite Shy Ronnie's 2 first-half interceptions, that's Mika Friday's 3rd catch. Let's go to Shy Ronnie inside the 10, down to the 4-yard line. 1st and goal for Austin. Mika Friday dominating this drive. For the Lone Stars, that's a 24-yard catch out of the third quarter in Dallas. In Chicago, I should say, for Dallas. That New York-Rochester game wrapping up early. There goes Payne Price, the league's leading rusher. Picking up 12 yards, his first positive yardage of the day. San Diego's offense has barely been on the field. Shirani from 4 yards out, and the receiver gets annihilated right at the goal line. That was Churchill. Second and goal at the 4 for Austin. Ronnie going to throw again, this time wide open, and I mean wide open. Mike Churchill with the catch, and that is 20 straight for Austin, and the number 4 is off the board. And for Mike Churchill, that is his 15th touchdown of the season in 14 games. That was horrible red zone defense from Wichita. Dallas has to punt. San Diego near midfield. Extra point is good for Austin. So since we hit the quad box, 28, 35, 31, and 4 are off your bingo cards. Payne Price on the run for Salt Lake. He's got the ball into Salt Lake territory at the 42-yard line. Don Mariano with another tackle. There's Harper Dew. The rest of this Wichita Flyer defense trot off the field in disappointing fashion with 1:08 to go in the first half. Up to the 14-yard line. Tonight we got Phoenix at Dakota, Vegas at Los Angeles, and coast to coast. No huddle for Chicago, and Zach Holdorf's pass off the mark. He's just 1 of 4 for 12 yards so far for San Diego. Chris Delro on the return for Wichita to the 24-yard line, 1 minute and 5 seconds left. Hand off to Payne Price. He gets it out to the 38-yard line for San Diego. Welcome to St. Louis, the final game of our 5-game slate here on the Gauntlet. The St. Louis Rivermen, for the first time in red jerseys and blue pants. For July 4th, this pass is intercepted by Austin Cash Cruz. Touchdown Lone Stars, a second quarter collapse by the Flyers. That's 4 defensive touchdowns given up in the last 2 games. That an overthrow, and Cash Cruz walks it in. Unbelievable. Cash Cruz with his first interception of the season. And that was on the first play of the drive, too. An overthrow and a 27-yard interception return for Cash Cruz and the Austin Lone Stars. San Diego's drive ends in nothing. And Salt Lake's got the football back. That was a missed field goal by Shane Cappellini. It's a 55-yard attempt for Cappellini for San Diego to try to get on the board. And he missed that wide to the right. They even boosted his accuracy and power this week. Still not enough on that one, and San Diego is still being shut out. Salt Lake takes over at their own 45-yard line. Now Karen Koizumi on a play action for St. Louis. There's a penalty marker down. Going to be a first down for the moment. But it's coming back. It was 27 yards on the pick six. 28, 35, 31, 4, and 27 called since the quad box. We'll get the bingo numbers back once we are done in Chicago. 8:55 to go there in the fourth quarter. 28-9. Adam Wiseman looking for someone to get open. There's a fumble on the play, picked up by a lineman. It is now 3rd and 33 for Chicago. And you know who's been silent today? K. Marion. Dallas is completely shut down the Chicago passing game. Solberg's got a wide open receiver, and at least Wichita's got all 3 timeouts and into Austin territory. It's been a miserable second quarter. Koizumi's going to be sacked, and Minnesota gets off the field on their opening drive. Brendan Allen with the takedown. Wichita's got 18 seconds left, and a deep shot down the field is caught. Timeout. Flyers have a chance here with 16 seconds to go in the second quarter. That's the 5th catch for R.J. Gilmore, already up to 95 yards. And Salt Lake is in San Diego territory again. 4th and 5 for Chicago. 8:05 to go. They got to go for it. Down 28-9. Wiseman's throw deep down the sideline is incomplete. He had an open receiver. Just too much of a floater. And Dallas will take over. Minnesota with the first stop of the day. They'll get the football at the 30-yard line. Wichita now inside the 10, down to 10 seconds to go. Timeout Flyers.
Here we go. 60 or.
Hey, watch 85. Watch 85. Single.
Get it.
This is Doug Falk on the opening play. Couple yards to Douglas Brown. This is Chris Allure for Salt Lake into the red zone of the San Diego 17. Let's go to Austin, where Wichita's got 1 timeout and 10 seconds left. A 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. Solberg dropping to throw. Solberg has to take a check down to Gilmer, and that will burn Wichita's final timeout. Might they go for it here? A field goal doesn't do much for them. Down 28-7, almost to the half. Play action for Doug Falk. He's going to take off and run. 3rd and short coming up for Minnesota. Pickup of 6. 1st and 10. Let's go back to San Diego. This is Allure running down to the 8-yard line. A 9-yard pickup. Actually, that's McLean. McLean having a heck of a first half in San Diego, and Salt Lake's over 200 yards of offense. Now Solberg on the final play of the first half fires into the end zone. That pass is knocked away and incomplete. It was a little behind the intended receiver, and Austin outscores Wichita 28-0 in the second quarter. And they take a 28-7 lead into the locker room. Another big run for Jaden Swift for Dallas, up to 128 yards on 20 carries for 2 touchdowns. He is all over Chicago today as Dallas looks to get their 10th win of the season. 1st and goal at the 5-yard line for Salt Lake. They've scored touchdowns on their opening 2 drives. This is Chris Allure down to the 2-yard line. San Diego's offense has barely been on the field in the first half. So Dallas trying to run this clock out. St. Louis and Minnesota punt on their opening drives. Jay Carter's pass is caught, but not ruled short of the sticks. 3rd and goal at the 1. Sasuke's 4th grab of the day for 27 yards. Clark with his 3rd tackle. 31st play of the first half for Salt Lake. 3rd and goal at the 1. The handoff to Allure, not going to get there. 4th and goal at the 1. Now decision time for Salt Lake. With 4:15 to go in the first half, and Austin's going to get the ball to start the second half. Wichita's got to turn it around. Very similar season to 2025. Salt Lake's going to take the points. This is an 18-yard field goal that would make it 17-0. That kick is good. So 17 and 18 come off your bingo cards. Again, the numbers will return to the screen after the conclusion of the Dallas-Chicago game. 77 yards on Mike Woodstone's first 9 carries today. Shirani deep ball, a crushing hit, but holding on to it. Mike Churchill at the 45-yard line. Wichita led this game 7-0. It has been all Austin ever since. Let's see. Let's go to St. Louis, where the Rivermen are across the 50. They are the only team across the 50 right now. Handoff goes to Junior McCray, and he's walloped in the backfield. Wiseman and Chicago trying to get something going. They have less than 200 passing yards today in a game that they have trailed much of the game, with 4:54 to go in the fourth quarter.
Ready? 70, Indy. Go.
This is Zach Holdorf taking off and running to the 37-yard line, as Karen Koizumi takes off and runs inside the 20 with a juke move down to the 16-yard line. A 31-yard run for Koizumi and a St. Louis first down. Koizumi receiving a ton of boost this week. Dallas with an interception at the 37-yard line. Corin Foxworth with the takeaway. It is all Talons in a game between two top teams in the East that has failed to live up to the billing. Zach Holdorf on the scramble near a first down. Koizumi on a play action going into the end zone and to nobody, just the cameraman in the back. First incompletion of the day for Karen. Second down and 2 for San Diego, trying to get some kind of momentum today. Payne Price on the carry, just his 7th for 31 yards in the first half. By the way, that was the first Chicago turnover. Koizumi on a little slant. Daniel Alvarez, 16-yard touchdown, St. Louis. Alvarez with the salute. Koizumi's got the touchdown. 2-minute warning in San Diego. And Dallas might score again. They're down to the 11-yard line. For Daniel Alvarez, that was his 3rd touchdown of the season. That was Koizumi's 16th passing touchdown. 7-0 St. Louis, no new numbers off the board. 2nd and 11 for San Diego with the 2-minute warning. They got a first down into Salt Lake territory. Wichita has the football back. They did get a stop. Let's go to San Diego now, where the Wildcats are the only team across the 50. Check that, Dallas in the red zone. 3:15 to go, pump fake, but Dallas is taken down on the sack. That is Booker with the takedown, and Dan Taylor with the sack on Zach Holdorf, the least sacked quarterback in the UFL, and Taylor crushes Holdorf at the 50-yard line. This is Holdorf hit as he threw, delivers a strike to Kyron Rucker. That is a very difficult throw and completion. Zach now 3 of 7, Rucker's first catch of the day. Jaden Swift wrapped up in the backfield. Haven't seen that very often today. 132 rushing yards for Swift. Minnesota trying to bounce back, trailing 7-0 early. Handed off to Brown, not much there. San Diego's got the ball into the red zone to the 14-yard line. That's Sir Jefferson with the catch. A lot of release boosts to San Diego's receiving core this week. The 17-yard line, Cameron Duty's pass, a little bit outside the stretch of his intended receiver. 2-minute warning. There goes Wichita into Austin territory, the 41-yard line. Solberg now 14 of 21. That is Morris, who had the fumble in the first half. Up to the Lone Star 41-yard line as Wichita starts to cook here in the third quarter. 34-yard field goal for Dallas is good. 34 was already off the board, so was 31. No new numbers there, 31-9. Dallas running away with it over Chicago. 28-7 Austin, 17-0 Salt Lake, but San Diego's on the move. 7-0 St. Louis over Minnesota. 4:38 to go in the first quarter. This is Holdorf looking for someone to get open, and he's sacked again. Just 22 sacks taken this season for Holdorf. He's been sacked twice on this drive. Salt Lake now 35 sacks this season. That ties them 6th with Minnesota. And Joshua frustrated with the turnovers in Wichita. And yeah, that's something that, it's picked up by Salt Lake in the end zone. James with the takeaway. And San Diego gets nothing. Right at the goal line, look at Trevante James come off of Ari Mills to pick this one off. There goes Dallas on a pick six. That's from 40 yards, and they score. A mess in Chicago. Corin Foxworth from 40 yards away. For Holdorf, that was just his 10th interception of the season. And for Trevante James, that is interception number 5. He leads the Salt Lake Hornets unclaimed. 3rd down and 5, Minnesota goes deep. And on 3rd and 10, Wichita trying to convert. They will not. Yeah, Josh, I've been trying to figure out why our website is not calculating defensive touchdowns. I don't know the answer for you right now, but eventually I will know the answer. Deep shot down the field, but the ball is knocked out of Pangori's hands. I thought she had it. 3rd and inches now for Salt Lake, which is 11 seconds to go in that first half. This is a 44-yard Wichita field goal. That kick is good. So 44 comes off the board. And on 3rd down and short, Chris Allure is going to get the Salt Lake first down. By the way, 38 now off the board as Dallas scores on that 40-yard pick six. So since we hit the quad box, your numbers 28, 35, 31, 4, 27, 17, 18, 40, 44, and 38. Plenty of bingo action here this afternoon. Yeah, Anthony, and that's a known issue in regards to the interceptions. It is calculating it in the on the pass deflections page and also on the player stats page in each team section, but we just don't have a leaderboard for some reason. That is still an ongoing issue we're trying to get resolved. Karen Koizumi, deep ball down the field. That is incomplete, 4th down. Hand off to Chris Allure, deep shot for Chicago. That one is caught, but just 1:10 left in that one. No huddle for Chicago. We've reached the end of the first half in San Diego, where the Wildcats have just 96 yards of offense. By the way, those broadcast crews coming up for tonight. Josh Zirkle, Tyler Falk have the second game of the night. Vegas at Los Angeles, Phoenix at Dakota. Eric Vinson and John Warren on the call. And then Colin Northrup and Ramos Lynn have the Monday night game, Miami at New Orleans.
Gator.
38-9. Dallas over Chicago. 35-7. New York over Rochester. Wichita got a field goal up, make it 28-10. And Salt Lake on top of San Diego, 17-0. They dominated that first half. Have yet to have any drama here on the Gauntlet today, or much drama, as Falk's pass is caught by his son Tyler. 5 of 7 for 44 yards in the opening quarter as we've reached the end of the quarter. Vincent, there's no way you forgot. You and Zirkle have the same jokes. That's why y'all are our top crew in the UFL. By the way, all the broadcasters that are here right now, please check your calendars for postseason dates, especially you, Vincent and Zirkle, for that championship game. slated for Tuesday, September 15th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That is the Tuesday after week 1 in the NFL, if you're trying to keep track on your calendars. Doug Falk has a clean pocket and throws a pick. Joey Duncan II on a complete misfire, and the Archangels do it again for St. Louis defensively. Zach Holdorf, deep shot down the field. It is incomplete. An overshot receiver. 50-yard field goal for Austin. That kick is good, and so Charles didn't need the 50 after all. No new numbers there. 31-10 is your score. So there are your updated bingo numbers there on the screen. As Dallas and Chicago has come to a close, San Diego will have to punt the football away. Austin gets a field goal to answer Wichita's field goal, making it 31-10 with 3:46 to go in the third quarter.
Ready. 60 or.
Here we go.
Five.
Guys are hysterical. Junior McCray, nice juke to the left side as a first down in the Minnesota 46-yard line. Right now, St. Louis and Minnesota, our closest game. We haven't really seen much out of Minnesota yet today. Wichita's got the football back, 3:46 to go in the third. They got to get going. They led this game 7-0 as Carter's pass is incomplete, his third incompletion of the day. Josh just watched Silence of the Lambs, I don't know, a week or two ago. Classic.
Here we go. 15 line. 15 line.
Jay Carter dropping a throw deep. Oh, had a wide open receiver on 3rd and 8, and Carter missed him, and Salt Lake will have to punt it away. R.J. Gilmer up over 100 yards today for Wichita. They got a first down at the 35-yard line. That was Chris Allure, who was wide open.
Let's see what you got.
Let's go.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
How's that for help? Deep shot for St. Louis. That's Alvarez with a beautiful catch on the sideline. First down for St. Louis.
Ready. 90 Wolf.
First down to the 15 for St. Louis now in the red zone. San Diego's got the football back after that misfire. 3rd down and 10 for Wichita. Solberg's going long. 1-on-2, and the pass is incomplete at the 5. Touchdown, St. Louis. That is Teray Wright, the backup, with the run for the for the touchdown, and we got another blowout brewing. Teray Wright scores from 15 yards out. No new numbers there. Pretty run from Wright. Teray Wright's second touchdown of the season. Just 105 rushing yards on the year, 2.4 average. And Wichita's drive stalls out, so they got to punt it back to Austin. Josh, did you like how I deleted your comment to send help? Just curious if you noticed that. Woodstone on the carry. No game is a one-score game right now. A fascinating development in the league. It just feels like we've had just a ton of blowouts, and I really can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's just unluckiness. But it's not necessarily blowouts by the better team. or the worst team, quote unquote. I mean, Austin and Wichita have a very similar record. Salt Lake has a worse record than San Diego. We just have not had a drama-filled, I want to say, since back in, was it week 10? May 24th was a stellar gauntlet. LA won by 3, Dakota by 1, Wichita by 3, Rochester by 3, St. Louis by 8. That was a sensational gauntlet. And in the month of June, and now in our first week in July, we've just kind of been on the struggle bus for drama. Had some, but not as much as we're used to around here in the UFL. Last week, we only had one game decided by one score. That was the St. Louis drama-filled win over Salt Lake, one of the best games of the season. San Diego is in the red zone, down to the Salt Lake 8-yard line. Sir Jefferson with the catch. And maybe we can finally get some drama in one of these games as San Diego's on the move. DJ Kilgannon in the house.
Got it. 53's mine. Check. 53. Come on, D.
No bonus numbers thus far. We'll see what happens as we go along here today. Still plenty of time left. Will be second down and goal now at the 8-yard line for San Diego. Mike Woodstone and the Lone Stars trying to run the clock out.
Come on, set. 90 Wolf.
They're not ready for this, man. They're not ready for this.
Five.
Y'all playing the wrong football.
Can't help it. The dog is just being so adorable today.
Go set. 10 Lobo.
Man's best friend right there. Third down and goal at the 4-yard line for San Diego. Holdorf going to take off and run. Had to run backwards to go forwards. How about that from Salt Lake, keeping Holdorf contained? Third tackle for Dan Taylor. Salt Lake may have just preserved giving up the touchdown, as Holdorf's only way out was around. Shy Ronnie and the Austin Lone Stars are in the red zone. Wichita is desperate for a stop. It's a 35-yard field goal for Austin. The kick is good. 35 and 34, no new numbers there. How about a 19-yard field goal for San Diego? Nope, no new numbers there either. So a pair of field goals gets San Diego on the board. Keeps it a 3-score game in Austin, 34-10, but just barely, with 10:09 to go in the fourth quarter. 5:26 to go in the third in San Diego. It's 17-3, and St. Louis leads Minnesota 14-0. Salt Lake will take over. 5:26 to go in the third. Just checking up on the Discord server. There's the Week 14 picks from Blackman. He had New York winning, Chicago winning. Of course, Dallas's record was considered 9-4, so maybe that had something to do with it. Austin getting the win. San Diego, St. Louis, no upsets predicted there. Lock of the week, Dakota over Phoenix. That's surprising. Upset alert, I think, for Vegas. Although it said they're 9-10 on the graphic. Not the best job from AI this week, but, you know, we'll give them a pass. Wichita's in the no-huddle with 9:40 to go in the fourth quarter. That's Timothy Shea with the completion for a first down. Minnesota's defense is back out there on the field with 5:15 to go in the first half. And Salt Lake now has a second down and 16 following the sack at the 19-yard line. And off to Chris Allure. Wichita's drive continues to the 23. If Wichita can score and get a 2-point conversion, they would be in decent shape. Down just 2 scores with 9 minutes to go. And Carter's got a first down. Wichita down to the 1-yard line. That's Jamichael Morris with the catch. 260 passing yards today for Wichita and 84 yards for Morris now. But he did have that one fumble at the end of the first half that led to an Austin touchdown. First and goal at the 1. Easy as you please. Touchdown Flyers. So Wichita has a chance to make this a 2-score game with 8:41 to go in the fourth quarter. And that is their first offensive touchdown of the day. Yeah, that was funny too, Flash. I have a booth review there. Let's go to San Diego, where the Hornets now have a 2nd down and 7 at their own 48 with 3:35 to go in the third quarter. A fast-moving game there in California. St. Louis is in the red zone. 1st down and 10 at the 19 of Minnesota. Chipper's desperate for a stop. Jay Carter's pass deep is caught to the 21-yard line. Mia Pangori from 31 yards. Pangori's up to 51 yards on 3 catches in the first half. Actually, it's in the third quarter now. The 2-point try for Wichita is ugly. No good. So still a 3-score game. Xander Fowler on the tackle with 8:41 to go in the fourth quarter. It's 34-16. Carter, floater in the end zone. There's nobody there. How's that not intentional grounding? In the pocket. That's a missed call in San Diego. And I agree, Phoenix could make things very interesting tonight. They are hot coming into that game against Dakota. Can they be the ones to stop the Rhinos? Winners of 2 straight and 6 of their last 10 is Phoenix. Dakota is 12-1 this season. Their last 3 games, Phoenix, at Vegas, at Austin. And on 4th down and inches, St. Louis is going to take the field goal. It's a 26-yard kick that is good. 26 is a new number off the board. Otherwise, no new numbers. Woodstone is up at 100 yards, 102 yards on 15 attempts. Yeah, 2 red against 2 green right now, although Minnesota's in mostly gold today. 8:40 to go in the fourth quarter, 34-16 Austin. Let's go to San Diego, actually, where Jay Carter just took a sack. San Diego looking for a stop. They do get the stop. It'd be a 47-yard field goal from here. 47 already off the board, but 20 is not. The field goal for Salt Lake is up and good, so 20 is your next number off the board. 20-3, Salt Lake counters San Diego's field goal with one of their own. And Takeda says we got to 17, game over pretty much, and he says that because St. Louis is the #1 scoring defense in the league, giving up just 16.4 points per game. As Austin tries to run out the clock on Wichita, 7:26 to go in the fourth quarter. I think, what do y'all think? I think San Diego Austin deserves to be flexed in. I know San Diego's trailing right now 20-3. They still have time, but even if they don't come back and win this game today, they would still be 1 game back of Austin for second place, and that game would help San Diego hold the head-to-head in a tie situation. That feels like a flex in place of either Phoenix at Miami or Dakota at Vegas, a playoff rematch from last year. Which game do we think deserves to be flexed out? Minnesota's got the ball in the 2-minute offense. 1:35 to go in the first half. Folk and the Chippers trying to get some points on the board. Payne Price trying to find anywhere to run. Just 43 yards on 12 carries for Payne Price. San Diego, again, really has not been on the field at all. I would love to get an update on how many plays the offense has run today. 3rd and long, and Doug Falk's pass sails out of bounds. It has been a miserable first half for Minnesota trying to score on the St. Louis defense. Zach Holdorf, a monster gain. He now has more rushing yards than Payne Price. 58 yards on 5 carries. Watkins with a sack for Wichita. Maybe St. Louis, Los Angeles with a flex in, we're thinking. We know New York and Dallas is going to be in prime time for sure. New Orleans, Rochester is also a sneaky flex game, especially if New Orleans can upset Miami, pair of 5 and 9 teams. Battling it out in the trenches of the Eastern Conference. 20-3, Salt Lake over San Diego in a full-blown upset alert at this point. But San Diego is across the 50 to the 42-yard line. Nico Rightway with another catch for Austin. Minnesota just trying to hold on before the end of the first half. San Diego's got a first down to the 28-yard line of Salt Lake. I think they're going to be moving in the no huddle this entire fourth quarter. Austin's got a punt. They do not get the field goal for DJ Kilgannon, but this punt is a beauty down to the 2-yard line. That is Karen Koizumi on the run to the 34-yard line, and a timeout called by St. Louis trying to get more points on the board. We still do not have an over 50. We've not had a single score of over 50 yards today on the Gauntlet, which might be the first time that's happened all season. Holdorf from the 24-yard line, back to pass, fires, that is caught down to the 7-yard line. Wichita deep in their own territory, and Delro can't get out of it. 7 yards for Holdorf. He's going to take off and run. Touchdown, San Diego. The Wildcats get a little closer. 20-9 is the score. Solberg in the end zone is dragged down for a safety, and 36 comes off the board. I believe that was... Yep, Max Superset with the safety. Extra point for San Diego is good, and the Wildcats get a little closer, 20-10. 36 comes off the board with the safety, so now it's 36-16, and Austin's going to get the ball. That pretty much wraps it up for Wichita. On 3rd down, a misfire from St. Louis will prompt a field goal from Urena Yuki. That would be a 46-yard field goal attempt and get us another 40-plus off the board. The field goal from 46 yards is good. Yuki is just automatic. And St. Louis takes a 20-0 advantage over Minnesota. So Salt Lake led 20-3. St. Louis leads Minnesota 20-0, but San Diego trying to give us just the slightest bit of drama here on the Gauntlet, now 20-10. But Jay Carter back to work, and he runs right into a sack. Hardaway with the sack, a loss of 10 yards, and it brings up 2nd down and 20, the second sack of the day for San Diego. 3 minutes left in Austin. Mike Woodstone running things out. For Wichita, they're going to fall to 6-8. That is 4 losses in a row. And that is frustrating for the Flyers because they had a similar collapse at the end of last season. Extremely frustrating. They got, well, technically 4 games to turn it around if you include the early games of the playoffs. Fortunately for Wichita, Chicago lost today, so they're still only a game back of Chicago. They did beat Chicago earlier this season 29-22, so they do hold the tiebreaker. Next week, Wichita is at Minnesota, which that's who you want on the board to snap a losing streak as of right now. And then they will host St. Louis the final week of the season. They played Dallas twice this season, lost both of those games, 23-17 and 24-10. Salt Lake on a 4th and 19 has to punt it away. They don't take very much time off the clock either. 9:36 to go in the 4th quarter. San Diego going to have decent field position at the 31-yard line. Start of the second half in St. Louis, Minnesota will get the football. Minnesota potentially falling to the league's worst record with this loss, 3-11. Holdorf's pass is complete. It's a pickup of 9. Leave Nicholas McCray on that reception. 2nd down and 1. Woodstone with 40 seconds to go. And they'll snap it one more time in Austin. Draw play, Payne Price with some room. 51 yards on 13 carries. Rob Noel, only 4 yards on 5 carries for Minnesota. He's the most talented running back that can't get going. And we just have not been able to figure out why in Minnesota. It's not too late for any of these teams, but the turnaround does not feel imminent as Noel runs into his line. Deep shot, Holdorf. That pass is caught to the Salt Lake 33-yard line, making the Hornets sweat a little bit. 8:20 to go in the 4th quarter. Dan Taylor's 5th tackle, but Holdorf starting to heat up for the Wildcats. Javon Wiggins with that fumble recovery for the touchdown for Austin, and that helps the Lone Stars to a victory. Take out that 2nd quarter, and Wichita outscored Austin 16-8, but it was 28 unanswered in the 2nd quarter. It was the difference in the game for Wichita. Ernest thinks he has a bingo on card number 9. Make sure to post it, Ernest. Which design do you got? That might be the first bingo today. Minnesota's got a punt. Holdorf to the sideline. That's incomplete. And Austin Wichita is done. The national anthem for Ernest. No, I don't think so. I think, Ernest, I think you need the 39, unless I missed a number. Yeah, you need the 39, and you would have it. But I don't think that you have it, Ernest. Had 31 called numbers today. But Ernest is 1 away. This is a 50-yard field goal for San Diego, and it is a 1-score game, and now 13 comes off the board. So 13 off the board, and San Diego down just 7 They have scored 10 unanswered against the Hornets, 7:13 to play, and now the pressure's on Salt Lake to keep it going. Salt Lake has been involved in a number of devastating losses, especially recently. And San Diego was involved in a lot of collapses early in the season. Now San Diego feeling like they're on the other side of that curse. Salt Lake not having those same feelings. 7:13 to go in the fourth quarter. Jay Carter, good day, 15 of 21, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Salt Lake lost to Wichita this season by 4, Minnesota by 3, Dallas by 7, LA by 1, and St. Louis by 5. The last 2 of those coming in the last 2 weeks. Minnesota's defense does get a stop. And that punt actually bounces back outside the 20 to the 21-yard line, so Minnesota not half bad field position. Holdorf needs 2 numbers for a bingo. Jay Carter on a 2nd down and 8. That pass is complete. Got 9. Perfect throw there. Pangori on the reception of the 36-yard line. Her 4th for 60 yards today. 6 minutes to go. Falk on a check down. Nicely done to Michael Joseph. Carter's pass tipped. Almost caught by Lucas Ryan, but it's incomplete. We'll set up a 2nd down and 10. Yeah, that was, I believe, Falk won that one right at the end for Minnesota. Rob Noel on the carry off the right side. That looked pretty good from Noel. Picking up a 1st down. Schutz just got a sack for San Diego, and now it's 3rd and 17. They brought the blitz. Actually, Schutz was not the one to bring him down, but he slowed down Jay Carter. Carter actually does a nice job of avoiding the sack, but could not get down the field. And San Diego has forced a 3rd and long. Charles needs 1 number for a bingo. 5:45 to go in the fourth quarter. Now it's 3rd down and long for Salt Lake. Jay Carter back to throw. He will have to check it down to Allure. He lost the ball. They ruled a fumble. It's recovered by Salt Lake, but it's going to be 4th and long, and Salt Lake's got a punt. The Hornets falling apart here. I think Allure may have been on top of a defender. Let's see this one again. Oh no, that looked like his elbow was down, but either way, it's going to be 4th and long. And there's not going to be a need for a challenge, so with 5 minutes to go, San Diego's going to get the football back, down just 7. Salt Lake scored 2 touchdowns in their first 2 possessions, then got 2 field goals on their next 2 possessions and have done nothing since then. And Minnesota on a 4th and 7 is going to have to punt again. This St. Louis Rivermen defense is just ferocious. Will Todd with the pass deflection. And if you look at the leaderboards in passes defended, Will Todd is number 1, along with Brian Schutz in San Diego with 19 apiece. Minnesota's punt is shanked out of bounds. Hiron Rucker's got a 1st down for San Diego down to the Salt Lake 40-yard line. Holdorf throwing near side, caught it in double. No, he dropped it. Wow. I thought Rucker had that in double coverage. 6:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. Play fake for Koizumi, dropping a throw. That one is complete. Well, it looks like Salt Lake or San Diego or St. Louis. Oh, San Diego's got a 1st down to the 38-yard line. It looks like St. Louis is going to maintain their lead in the East Division. Up comfortably on Minnesota 20-0 at the 40-yard line after New York won today and Dallas won today. The top 3 teams in the East separating themselves a bit. This is Holdorf on a scramble. 1st down and 10. Holdorf looking for a block on the sideline. He did not get it. 7 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown. It's a pickup of just 2, and Mariano with his second solo tackle.
On the ball! On the ball!
No huddle with 3:50 to go in the fourth quarter for the Wildcats. Pass over the middle, caught at the 13-yard line. Kyron Rucker again, 3:40 to go, 352 in total yards for San Diego. No huddle offense. Holdorf throwing again. That pass is caught down to the 8-yard line. 8 is not off the board. McCrae's fourth catch for 42 yards. 3rd and 3 for Koizumi. Deep throw down the field is an overthrow, and Minnesota gets a stop. 3:10 to go in the fourth quarter. This is Holdorf dropping a throw. Holdorf fires near sideline, caught down to the 4-yard line. 3rd and 1 at the 4. .305 to go in the fourth quarter. Salt Lake 20, San Diego 13. Holdorf fires near side, out of bounds. 4th and 1 at the 4. Minnesota will start from their own 14-yard line. 4:01 to go in the third. They're still getting blanked.
Let's go. 10 Lobo.
4th and 1 at the 4. San Diego going for it. Down 7. A field goal doesn't do much. And Price is swallowed in the backfield.
We got this.
Just 47 rushing yards for Payne Price today. Salt Lake has shut down the league's top rusher. Ernest thinks he has the airplane, but you would need the number 2 for the airplane, Ernest. You're 1 away from that as well. Ernest's card is so close. Jay Carter is sacked in the end zone for a safety. And San Diego will get the football with a chance to win the game. Unbelievable. A play-action fake drags Jay Carter into the end zone. Unreal. The Wildcats charging back with 2:54 to go in the fourth quarter and the football. The safety punt goes out of bounds, which will put the ball for San Diego at the 30-yard line.
All day, baby, all day. 54 is Mike. 54 is Mike. Check. Watch 54. Watch it.
So Holdorf now will take over on the run and slides down to the 38, a pickup of 8 yards. Karen Koizumi, 14 of 18, 117 yards, a touchdown and no picks today. St. Louis comfortably in the lead, 2:26 to go in the fourth quarter, our first drama of the day in UFL Week 14 in San Diego. That pass is caught. The 22nd completion for Holdorf. Out of bounds with 2:24 to go.
Ready. 10-2 stop.
You're not ready.
2.
This is a deep shot for Holdorf. He had a receiver. That was Jefferson overthrown. Minnesota has 61 passing yards today. 2nd down and 10 for the Wildcats. Draw. Payne Price buried. This is by far the best any team has done on Payne Price this season. Take a page out of the Hornet book.
Go, Rocky, come on.
Will San Diego get another playoff before the 2-minute warning? They will. 3rd down and 11. Holdorf's pass is intercepted. Salt Lake's defense has come up with 2 picks and a 4th down stop in this ball game. They now have the ball with 1:59 to go in the 4th quarter. San Diego going to have to burn timeouts, and Allure takes the carry. The Hornets defense doing just enough in the second half. And Minnesota's defense gets another stop, 20-0. St. Louis still dominating this game, but they haven't necessarily put it away. 1:11 to go in the 3rd. They'll try to do it with this next defensive possession. 2nd down and 9 for Salt Lake. Handoff to Allure. That's only going to pick up 2 yards and a timeout. San Diego. Pass caught by Tyler Falk. He takes almost the entire Riverman defense with him. 1st down to midfield, and Doug Falk is near 100 yards. Finally, a 30-yard catch for Tyler. 3rd down and 7 now for Salt Lake. San Diego has just 1 timeout. What will Salt Lake decide to do? A 1st down would basically ice it. They'll hand it off to Allure, running around the side, and it lost 5 yards. San Diego will get the ball back with no timeouts. 1st and 10, Minnesota. Pass caught by, I believe, that Moody. LaBrice Rowland, 3 catches for 28 yards. 2nd and 7, Nathan Brady, the 4th on the tackle. And on 4th and 12, Salt Lake shanks the punt out of bounds at the 30-yard line. St. Louis and Minnesota go scoreless in the 4th. So now Zach Holdorf, 22 of 37, 267 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 picks today. Will try to lead the charge with no timeouts and 1:45 to go. Holdorf dropping a throw. He will fire near side. That's incomplete. And a penalty marker. A face mask on St. Louis will keep the Minnesota drive moving forward to the 27-yard line. 1:40 to go in the 4th quarter. This is Holdorf firing, caught near sideline, and yak yards to boot to the Salt Lake 48-yard line. Nicholas McCray, 1st down, San Diego. Falk has worked Minnesota into the red zone for the first time today. 2nd and 3, Chippers with 11:38 to go in the 4th. Minnesota trying to make it interesting. That pass is caught and reaching for the goal line. Touchdown, Minnesota. A.J. Price with the score from 20 yards out. And the Chippers are on the board. Holdorf's pass is incomplete. Ruled a forward pass after he got clocked by Lou Marks, who's been playing some of his best football in the last few weeks, still unclaimed. Price also unclaimed, rolls over Dynamite McCray Sr. Look at that pylon cam. What a perfect throw. Or what a perfect play by Price after a good throw from Falk. This is Holdorf for the sideline, caught at the Salt Lake 45. It'll stop the clock, 3rd down and 6. Extra point for Minnesota is good, but no new numbers. 20-7 now. That was a 4-play, 74-yard drive, aided by a pass interference penalty. This is Zach Holdorf dropping a throw, going deep. One-on-one coverage in the end zone, incomplete. 4th down. That ball knocked away by Brooke O'Neal. Fourth down, San Diego. This season, San Diego is 2 of 6 on 4th down. That's the third worst percentage in the league. Minnesota will kick it away. 4th down, conversion for San Diego to the 25-yard line. A pickup of 20 yards. Sir Jefferson, the drive stays alive, and San Diego up to 412. 11:23 to go in St. Louis. Holdorf under a minute now to play. Checks it down to Price. Payne Price doesn't know where to go. Get out of bounds, Payne. What is going on with Price today? Down to 46 seconds to go in California. McCray, nice run from St. Louis, picks up 9 to start the drive. 39 seconds for San Diego, down 5. Trying to complete the comeback. They were down by 17. Holdorf is sacked and dragged down to the 31-yard line. Lou Marks again. San Diego's got to go no huddle, down to 22 seconds to go. It's 3rd down and 16. 18 seconds left for Holdorf. Holdorf to pass, down the sideline again, had that route open, but just too late. Incomplete, and it's 4th down. 3rd down and 4 for St. Louis after Brendan Allen, still unclaimed, makes his 7th tackle. This one on McCray in the backfield. So now another 4th down for San Diego. They've converted just 3 all season, including 1 on this drive. Holdorf to throw. Holdorf looking, sacked again, lost the ball. You cannot advance the fumble unless you are the fumbler inside of 2 minutes, and Salt Lake survives. Fumble by St. Louis, and Minnesota recovers. 10-11 to go in the 4th quarter. Back-to-back fumbles here on the Gauntlet as Homer J had the ball ripped away, and Minnesota gets the football. And Salt Lake takes knees. They survive 20-15, and now the focus on Minnesota trying to complete a comeback here in the 4th quarter. For Minnesota, they are 3rd in the league in fumbles recovered. That is their 6th fumble recovery. And Doug Falk, a floater to his son, caught at the 31-yard line. The Chippers, who were downright horrific in the 4th quarter last week to Rochester, giving up 28 points in 3 minutes, has flipped the script on the St. Louis Rivermen. In the last 4 quarters of play, Minnesota had been outscored 48-0. But Minnesota, with their 164 total yards of offense in this game, is on the move. 1st and 10 at the St. Louis 31. Doug Falk down the field, caught at the 11-yard line. Holding on to it, Michael Joseph. 1st and 10 for Minnesota with 9:22 to go in the 4th quarter. Plenty of time left for the Chippers. As Zach Holdorf looks on, San Diego blows an opportunity. They are now 7-7. Austin is 8-6, but the 2 teams will play next week, and we're flexing that game into primetime. Doug Falk, 1st down and 10, going to take off and run. He is sacked. A loss of 5. Antonio Flash is there on the outside. Mike Churchill thinks he's got the national anthem on card number 6. That was the one that Ernest was trying to achieve. And yeah, you got it, Mike. With that number 13, post it now, and the national anthem pattern on bingo will be taken by Mike Churchill. Sack number 10 on the year for Flash. That brings Flash to a tie for 4th place. Doug Falk on 2nd and 15. He got absolutely crushed. We now have 1 game left in the Gauntlet. 8:24 to go in the 4th quarter. Minnesota has a 3rd and 15. They could get a 1st down inside the 1-yard line. Doug Falk looking, 4-man rush, clean pocket. Doug Falk's pass is caught down to the 5-yard line. But it's going to be 4th down, and Minnesota going to have to go for it, I think. Minnesota is, well, that's just not true. We've got them as 200% on fourth down. I don't think that's the case. Have to get that cleaned up on the back end of our stats. Isaiah Moody with the catch. It's going to be fourth down, Minnesota now. Might have a salute on card 18 for Payne Price. We'll check it. Minnesota going to take the field goal, and that is true. 22-yard field goal was good, so 22 comes off the board. At first, I was going to say, why take the field goal there? But there's still plenty of time left in this game, over 7 minutes. Minnesota gets their 10th straight point. So let's check card 18 for Mr. Price, trying to claim the salute. No, Payne, you have to get it exactly as it is on the card. So you do have a salute. Well, you know what? I didn't say that, so yeah, I'll give it to you, Payne. I didn't say that when I posted the card. So yes, you have the salute, and you can take that away. There's a look at Koizumi in the first half, second half, 6 of 7 for 34 yards. Minnesota up to 190, St. Louis 270. And the handoff goes to McCray. I got lectured about, not lectured, that's unfair. I got told in a DM that I need to be more specific with my instructions. Otherwise, I have to let things go. So I'm doing that for Payne. Ronnie thinks he's got the plane. As that one almost picked off by St. Louis. You know, it's third down and long now for St. Louis. Card 32 for Ronnie. Ronnie's got the plane. So we got 3 designs off the board here in bingo. Karen Koizumi dropping a throw, throws a pick, throws an interception. It's taken back the other way. Oh my goodness, touchdown Minnesota. A 32-yard pick six for Virgil. Oh my, the collapse is on in St. Louis. Wow. A ball gets there late, and Marcus Vigil takes it away. Virgil's first interception of the season, and if you can believe it, there's nobody on the team with more than 2. 32 is off the board, the extra point is good, and it's a 3-point game in St. Louis, despite Minnesota having less than 200 yards of offense and still 6:54 to play in the fourth quarter. As New York desperately waits for the result of this game to try to move into first place in the Great East. So airplane, national anthem, and salute are the patterns that have come off the board for bingo. Once those bingo players post their winning card. And Minnesota at 3-10. Oh, they just pulled down the face mask. That's not going to help.
Face mask. Defense.
Lilac with the penalty for Minnesota. That moves the Rivermen up to the 37-yard line. 271 yards of offense for St. Louis, just 190 for Minnesota. And they'll start with a Koizumi throw, trying to get her back into rhythm, and that pass is caught. That was Koizumi's first pick, by the way. Daniel Alvarez with the catch. He's had a great day for St. Louis. 7 catches for 98 yards. Minnesota this season lost to Vegas by 8, LA by 3, but those are the only 2 games they've lost by 1 score this season. First and 10. Koizumi, play action, incomplete. Just missed a wide open receiver over the middle, and it's 2nd and 10. Mac Anthony thinks he's got the cross. What's your card, Mac? I'll confirm that for you. 2nd and 10, Koizumi's pass is complete on a little RPO. That is central house. That'll keep the clock moving. 6 minutes to go. It'd be a 54-yard field goal from here. That's within Yurina Yuki's range. 3rd down and 3. Karen dropping a throw. Karen fires. Caught short of the first down. And now it's 4th and 2 from the 35, and decision time for St. Louis. If they kick a field goal, they'll go up by just 6 and give Minnesota the football back, or they could go for it on 4th down. They are 3 of 8 on 4th down this season.
Let's go. 50, plant.
Watch the run. Watch the run.
4th down and 2. St. Louis is going to choose to go for it. They're going to hand it off to McCray. He's got the first down and more. And that will continue to tick away some clock. Minnesota's done a great job on Ernest McCray today, but not on that 4th down conversion. And the drive continues for St. Louis. Waiting for Mac to tell me what his card is.
Set, ready.
A field goal could still keep this a 1-score game. 4.5 to go in the 4th quarter for St. Louis. The handoff goes to McCray. He is annihilated. 64 yards on 21 carries, and that's Allen's 8th tackle. Card 35 for Mac. Mac, that is correct. You've got the cross. That's our 4th design off the board. That is caught for St. Louis down to the 9-yard line. That's Alvarez. A little bit of a risky throw there, but Alvarez now over 100 yards. And St. Louis is going for the throat here against Minnesota. 3.5 to go in the 4th. They lead by 3. Karen Koizumi dropping a throw again. Oh, Homer J could not hang on. The pass is incomplete. 2nd and goal. $100, Zach? My goodness. Even I have a hard time not making that, or not granting that request. But I still will deny it. 3rd and goal at the 9. That is an incomplete pass from Koizumi. And St. Louis, I understand that Minnesota still has all 3 timeouts. And I also understand that a touchdown makes it a 2-possession game. Koizumi going to take off and run and slides down to the 2-yard line. Listen, I understand. Look, St. Louis is trying to score a touchdown and go up 2 scores. It's not like they're just going to go conservative and run. But a couple of clock stoppages is going to give Minnesota another opportunity here. This is a 19-yard chip shot for St. Louis to go up by 6. That kick is good. 19 was already off the board, but 23 was not. So 23 off the board. Minnesota will get the ball back with a chance to win the game with a touchdown in the final couple of minutes. Couple of single-digit numbers that did not come off the board today. 1 in the 10s, 3 in the 20s, 4 in the 30s, and 5 in the 50s. And we did not have a single play of over 50 yards, a field goal or a touchdown today on the Game Day Gauntlet, at least so far. With 2:36 left, Minnesota's got a chance to do the unthinkable here in Missouri. Here we go. Minnesota has less than 200 yards of offense today, and most of it has come off the arm of that man, Doug Falk. 18 of 27 for 180 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. 2:36 to go, and all 3 timeouts for Minnesota, trailing by 6. We'll send Noel in motion. Doug Falk to throw, over the middle to start. That's Tyler Falk picking up 6. Minnesota won, or St. Louis won last week's game over Salt Lake 22-17. They now lead 23-17. 2:15 to go. Doug Falk dropping a throw, fires, that's caught by Tyler, but it is short of the first down. That'll be the final play before the 2-minute warning. 3rd down and 1 coming up. Two minutes to go in St. Louis. Boy, we didn't have a lot of drama on the Gauntlet early, but we did get it late. St. Louis beat Salt Lake by 5. They beat New York by 8. They beat Phoenix by 4. They beat San Diego by 1. They beat Vegas by 4, and they beat Rochester by 5. Some people call Dakota lucky, but St. Louis has had plenty of one-score wins themselves. That pass is incomplete over the middle, and now it's 4th and 1, Minnesota. They still have not even picked up a first down on this drive. That was Tyler over the middle, but Will Todd there again to swat it away. Here we go, 4th down and 1. Minnesota has to go for it. Handoff, Rob Noel. I think he got it. He did. Only 14 yards on 9 carries for Rob Noel in this game, but he just kept the drive alive for Minnesota.
On the ball, come on.
1:40 to go in the 4th quarter. Doug, clean pocket. To throw, caught at midfield.
Here we go.
Pass caught by Isaiah Moody, his 3rd for 28 yards. 1:23 to go in the 4th quarter. Todd on the tackle.
Go, Rocky, come on.
No huddle here for Doug Falk. Minnesota 49 yards away from a win. Doug, deep, down the field, open man, and he just missed Rob Noel on a streak. Out of the backfield all by himself. Oh, Doug's going to want that one back. 2nd and 10. Falk back to throw, and he air-mailed it again, looking for Michael Joseph. 3rd down and 10. It doesn't prevent a challenge, but it would have been a booth review. And the booth chose not to review it. Maybe they couldn't review it because of the no huddle. 3rd down and 10 for Doug Falk. Pass incomplete. He misfired again. 3 straight misfires for Doug Falk, and it's 4th and 10. Just off target. Although pretty good coverage on Joseph, who leads the league in receptions. Will Minnesota drop their 3rd one-score game this season, and will St. Louis win their 7th? 4th and 10. Doug Falk looking over the middle, knocked out of the hands of Michael Joseph. And St. Louis will, for the moment, hold on, but Minnesota still has all 3 timeouts. And look at the coach. He's saying you got to lead. He's saying to Joseph, you got to push down the field. He had a defensive lineman on him. That's just, man, Michael Joseph, he's just got to take that upfield and go. Alvarez might be the offensive player of the game today for St. Louis. 8 catches, 112 yards, and a touchdown. And 1 first down should ice this and give St. Louis a sigh of relief and keep them atop the Great East Conference. Hand off to Junior McCray, and a flag on Minnesota for a face mask.
Face mask. Defense.
That moves the ball into field goal range at the 32-yard line, and that may have just wrecked the game. Now, it does stop the clock, but now even if they stop St. Louis, 3 straight plays, they're in Urena Yuki's range. Hand off to Ray Wright. Timeout, Minnesota. 2nd down. So next week, San Diego and Austin is going to flex in. Just 2 weeks left of the regular season. That's going to flex into Dakota, Vegas. And then on coast to coast, for now, we've got Phoenix at Miami and then New York at Dallas. But we're going to see what happens with Phoenix and Miami. Junior McCray's got a first down. This game is over. And St. Louis survives. A steady and sturdy performance from the Rivermen, who've amassed 351 yards of total offense today. St. Louis finishes the season at Los Angeles and at Wichita. This is their final home game of the season as Minnesota calls their last time out. St. Louis will finish with a 6-2 home record. Only Dakota and New York have a better record at home. So St. Louis at LA, at Wichita to end the season. Minnesota will host Wichita and at Chicago to finish things off. 9 carries, 66 yards for Koizumi today. 1 more kneel down for her. And as Brandon Kelly said, we survived.
Mike is 59. Mike to 59. Here it comes. Here it comes.
48 of you stayed to watch the finish of St. Louis and Minnesota. We really appreciate y'all hanging out with us today. Let's cue that outro. Clutch is going to see the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight in the CFL. That'll be fun. Bingo was not broken, just for you. Apparently, Charles. Sorry about that, but we had a few winners. See you guys on Coast to Coast. Phoenix and Dakota coming up, followed by Vegas and Los Angeles. Boy, Minnesota scores 17 in the 4th quarter. Scared the bejesus out of St. Louis. And we're almost at just 2 weeks left in the UFL regular season. It's been a fun one with you all here in 2026. What do we still have in store? Your final scores today: New York all over Rochester 35-7. They score 5 touchdowns in the red zone. Dallas beats Chicago 38-9, and they dominate the second half and dominated up front on both sides of the line to get to 10-4. Austin beats Wichita 36-16 as the slide for the Flyers continues. They've now lost 4 straight as Austin bounces back. San Diego falls to 3rd in the West, upset by Salt Lake, who snapped a 6-game losing streak. The Hornets are now 5-9, and they're not out of it in the West. San Diego falls to 7-7, but has the big one against Austin next week in prime time. And then St. Louis was up 20-0 on Minnesota. They survive a Chippers comeback, 23-17 to improve to 11-3, still atop the Great East Conference. Phoenix and Dakota comes your way at 6 p.m. Eastern with Eric Vincent and John Warren. Vegas at Los Angeles with Josh Zirkle and Tyler Falk. That comes your way next. For all of us here at the UFL, I'm UFL co-founder Cameron Irvine. This has been a presentation of the Virtual Football Network. 3 hours of commercial-free football right here on VFN. Week 14 is wrapped up here from the Gauntlet. Enjoy the primetime games, everybody. Just a horizontal for you. That's all that's left for Bingo, and hopefully Bingo is kinder to you tonight and tomorrow. We'll see you all next time. Have a great Sunday, everybody.